Hello everyone and welcome back to the race that's shaping up quite nicely. A drive-through penalty took me from 4th to about 9th as we go round the first corner, round Suthill, all the way around the outside of him and get myself into P6. So a drive-through took me down to about P12, but everyone else has pitted bar me. Well, lots of other cars have pitted bar me and I've got myself back up to P5, which is rather lovely. Lovely indeed. So we're coming down now towards the middle sector of the track. I've got Alonso jumping out the pits, but he's going to be all over my gearbox like an absolute rabbit. My tyres are obviously not going to be as great as his. But I think I'm going to try and not pit, but I've lost it wide. I've lost it into the wall. I've lost it. I've slammed into the barriers. Lucky to keep my front wing. I've lost 3 places there. I've lost Kobayashi's front wing almost by coming back onto the track when there was full speed cars ahead. So that was naughty from me. And it was Perez, not Kobayashi. So Alguersuari's slipped down my inside as well as long as a few other cars. So that's silly positions lost, unnecessary positions lost, just for pure driving ignorance and just not paying attention to the road ahead. Cost me dear, that did. As we come through here and round towards, well, we're middle sector. I don't know any of the names of the corners, I'm going to be honest, apart from Eau Rouge, so I'm just going to call them the next turn and move on. As you can see behind Perez on the little minimap, there's a little blue dot. That blue dot signifies my rival. I had to choose my rival in an interview. I chose Petrov, who obviously drives for Lotus Renault in this game because he's not yet at Caterham like he is in F1 2012. So we come towards the final sector. I've got to try and beat my teammate, which is, well, he's ahead of me unfortunately, and I've got to try and beat Petrov, who is behind me fortunately, as I try and go around the outside of Alguersuari, but no, he's decided to pit. So Suthill, and so have about 3 other cars, so I've got myself back up to P6. Think where I could have been if I didn't spin out. I'd be about 1st by now. Obviously I'd have the worst tyres by a mile, but I would be 1st, and that would be a first. Oh god. So I'm back up into P4, and I've got about 5 cars. Well, in fact, the entire grid behind me has better conditioned cars. So as we come through Eau Rouge, it's a case now of how many positions I can hold from this position till the end of the race. Lap 6 of 9, I've got 3 laps to go. So it's like a sprint mode essentially, except it's against the computer. It's following 6 laps that I've already completed, and it's in the heavy rain, so in fact it's absolutely nothing like sprint mode, so ignore that comment. So here we are, coming through the middle part of the lap. I'm looking to hold off Massa, who is gaining on me in massive amounts of ways. Let's watch the sector times with hawk eyes through this next part. We'll see. I'm lapping 1 minute 54s. Well, that's my best actually, so we'll see what we're lapping at the end of this lap. That might be, we'll see what's way off. I don't know how good a 154 is considering the rain. Obviously, in the dry you should be looking at mid to low 140s for Spa. Don't ask me how I know that. So we're coming through here, and nice through there. So we'll look at the sector times now. We've got a gap of 2 seconds to Alonso and 1.3 seconds to Massa. So at the end of this last lap, we'll see what the time is. Apparently I'm minus 4 seconds up on last lap, but that's obviously pretty self-explanatory, seeing as last lap I spun out. So that's a bit worrying, because I think that spun out cost me more than 4 seconds. So to be only 4 seconds ahead means I'm losing pace, and considering I've got no traffic is a bit concerning. So we're coming through the final chicane. At the final chicane, I'm actually going to finish this lap just off my best. In fact, I set my best. That was my best lap of the Grand Prix, but I have lost time to Massa. In fact, I've lost about 0.3 of a second in that last lap. Alonso's fine. He's just done the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He's 2 seconds a lap faster than me, and he's way off into the distance. But Massa is hunting me down, and he's hungry. He's a hungry Brazilian, very, very hungry Brazilian, and he's coming at me at pace as we come through here now. I just need to probably watch my own race. Just if I can get good points if I just keep the car in the circuit, but the problem is keeping the car in the circuit, because obviously as the tyres degrade, it becomes harder to hold the track. Hold the track on the car. Hold the car to the track. Because obviously wets lose grip, and grip is an absolute necessity in the rain. In fact, it's a necessity all the time, because if you don't have any grip, you're not going to win anything. Anyway, enough of my silly lectures. The game wants me to finish above P12, which is entirely doable and possible from this position. Obviously Massa is gaining on me, and we're about to at the end of sector 2 get a nice cheeky sector time. Obviously it was a second gap from 1.3 at the end of the last lap. So coming into the last sector after this little right-hander, this 90-degree right-hander, we're going to see how far behind he is, and it's definitely not a second. No, it's 0.7, so he's taken another 3/10 off, and I've spun out. I've spun out into the wall. I've lost Massa's position. I'm down to P5, and I'm going to lose. But Schumacher's out the Grand Prix. I've spun into him. Schumacher's out the Grand Prix. That could be a safety car. That could be a safety car deployed, and it would not surprise me one little bit. Schumacher's out the Grand Prix. I cannot believe I've still got my front wing. That's the second spin out of the game. I need to really be careful now because I'm in danger of losing all points this race, points that can be ill afford to lose. Hamilton sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I almost lose it coming out of the final chicane. I get the final chicane all wrong, cross the start-finish straight, and it's a disaster lap. 2 minutes and 1. That's embarrassing. When you're lapping in the 1 minute 2s, you know it's been a bad lap, and there's 2 brawling out ahead of me, so I could actually try and nip down the inside of them, but it's not looking likely, seeing as I have the slowest car on the circuit as it stands, probably. So we're going to come through Eau Rouge. I think I've said we're coming through Eau Rouge every time on this lap. We've come through Eau Rouge, so I'm going to not say it for the last lap of the race. I'm not going to even mention the name Eau Rouge. So we're coming through here, past there, and around about where? Heidfeld behind me, 3 seconds. I should be able to hold that gap easily in 1.5 laps. Providing I don't spin out, which is, let's be honest, not the most easy of tasks when it's raining. I think has the rain stopped? No, the rain hasn't stopped, but it's still there, but it's obviously much lighter than it was at the start of the Grand Prix, which is good for me as I take far too much curb there. And go wide, but get away with it, fortunately. Coming round here, just about touching that apex, which is lovely jubbly, and I've lost it again. Just about held it, but lost it again. I'm in the wall. How have I still got my front wing? How have I still got my front wing? Is unbelievable. I lose the position to Heidfeld, and I've got Kobayashi all over my gearbox and all over my rear wing, and I've lost 2 seconds. I've lost 5 seconds this lap now. Again, spinning out. I really need to concentrate. I need to stop wandering off, talking about Eau Rouge, and start talking about the corner that's relevant to the one that I'm driving at this moment. So I've got Kobayashi behind me. I keep meeting Kobayashi this race. I don't know what's going on, but I keep meeting into him. So I'm just wasting points. I'm just pooing out points that shouldn't be on the table. Should not be there. They should be on the table, and they should have been taken by me, but they haven't. They've just been squandered. They've just been squandered unnecessarily as we come through the first corner and up towards a corner, and through that corner we go, and Kobayashi doesn't look within range of overtake with only 1 lap to go this race, so I will take a P8 at this stage. Disappointing considering I've been P4 on more than 1 occasion and squandered it via penalties or bad starts, or I've lost it. No, I haven't. By penalties or bad. And Kobayashi's absolutely all over my gearbox. He was a second behind me as we went through the start-finish straight, and now he can't be more than 3/10 behind me. This is going to be a race to the finish. I'm not conceding my 4 points. I'm not halving them. I'm not taking 2 from this Grand Prix. I might be if I keep touching these barriers. And I've got red fuel in the bottom right, as you can see there, but that really doesn't matter. I should be able to stay on mixed 3 as we go through these little corners here. And Kobayashi is feisty. And we all know what happens when Kobayashi is feisty. He is not afraid to overtake someone on the last lap of the Grand Prix, as we saw in Valencia 2010. And, well, obviously, this is computer, so we might not be able to reinterpret that. But we're coming through here now. My tyres have survived the whole race without a pit stop, which seems to have been the correct strategy considering the penalty that I had. Lewis Hamilton has won the Grand Prix, but obviously a penalty that he inevitably gets will shunt him down to P3 or P4 on the grid. So we're breaking into the final game. This should be fairly simple. I should have confirmed P8, 4 points on the board, not bad at all. And we go over the start-finish line. I've held Kobayashi at bay, so 4 points on the board, not bad, but not brilliant either. Still ahead of my target. So my guy's obviously very happy, but That's it for now. Check back on the next thing, on the next video, and I think it's Monza next. So I'll see you then. But until then, thank you for watching. Goodbye.